Hey there, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Lauren Coleman and Stacy Spivey, and Monique Robinson will be along in just a minute.
Hey everybody, remember there's so many ways to watch us on air, online, Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you chime in, join the conversation. Lots to talk about there.
Yeah, and we have a lot to talk about as far as weather goes.
Yeah, for sure. And these summer temperatures kind of bringing like spring thunderstorms and really almost like a summertime situation here. We've seen this around the Triad, different spots. It just really depends on where you are. It's the type of situation where you get the rain, your neighbor doesn't. I mean, it's just spotty across the area. This is a thunderstorm in Eden with a pretty heavy, long-lasting rain.
You definitely don't want to get trapped in that. So it's probably a good idea to have that umbrella handy throughout the evening today.
You're looking at that video, if you're in some spots across the central Piedmont, you're probably like, it looks nothing like that outside in my neck of the woods, and that's more than likely true. Not everyone is dealing with any storms at all. In fact, some places across the western Piedmont, it's dry and the sun is more than likely out. You're seeing this stretch of showers and even storms when we look further north near Rockingham County, and when we look towards Caswell County, where we're seeing these very strong storms make their way across. And we're going to continue to be watching how these develop, but the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued with those storms has now been expired. So no longer looking at the severe thunderstorm warning threat with that. And this is all associated with the cold front that's sending well to the north and east. So we're not the only folks dealing with some spotty showers and storms. In fact, the north and east across New York, they're dealing with a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings with that strong cold front. What you're seeing on here is a mix of brown and white. What am I looking at, Monique? Well, this is talking about how much moisture is in the air. Where it's brown, there's no moisture. Where there's white and blue, that's where the moisture is. And you can see across the central Piedmont, where we're located further south here, we're starting to get that dry air to mix in, which means the cold front is crossing us. Here's another look at how those cold fronts are, how that cold front is panning out and changing our weather. You can see these dew points in the 60s. The front is kind of splitting the Piedmont at the moment. It's going to continue to shift east. As it does that, these dew points that we're seeing in the 50s and the 40s are going to kind of spill into our area. As that happens, it's going to feel less humid when you walk outside. So that's pretty much the main story for your day tomorrow. It's going to feel less humid. Will the 80s hold off? Well, I can't say that, but it will feel less humid at least for the next 2 days. But by the end of the week, we're bouncing back up into some warmer temperatures, talking 90s as we continue for this week. So like I said, that cold front crosses the area, dry air spills in behind it, and then we're looking at dry weather for your Tuesday and your Wednesday.
Monique, when I was outside shooting my story earlier today, I was sweating. It was so hot out there. And you're talking about 90-degree weather. Is that normal for mid-May?
Well, actually, here's the stats. The average first 90 degree is on May 18th. And last year we reached our first 90-degree day on May 24th. So we're kind of right on target.
Okay. And of course, people hate when we talk about pollen in the springtime. Since we are getting closer to summer, does that mean goodbye to pollen?
Yes, at least for some folks. If you are a tree pollen person like me, that's falling. The grass pollen falling too. The weed pollen doesn't peak actually until the fall, so we are actually in the clear of that.
Monique, thank you so much for clearing all that up for us. And with scattered storms in our forecast, we want to keep our free WFMY News 2 app close. It's easy to download from either the Apple Store or Google Play, and there you'll have the latest weather updates right in the palm of your hand.
Right now, law enforcement are searching for suspects after 7 people were shot in the Triad. Winston-Salem police say it happened last night and spanned across 3 different locations: Fairview Park, Highway 52, and East 25th Street. Investigators say the shootings were targeted, but 2 of the victims were innocent bystanders. In a press conference today, Captain Amy Galden says they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. All of the victims received non-life-threatening injuries. Police say several investigation units are involved in this case. Right now, they believe the suspects were driving a white 4-door BMW and a black Dodge Charger. If you know anything about any of these shootings, call Crime Stoppers. Right now, the Greensboro Police Department is spearheading several programs aimed at gun violence. Last week, it released its annual report on the city's homicide rate. According to the data, Greensboro homicides declined by 15% in 2021. despite increases reported in nearly every city in North Carolina. The department credits the decrease in community investment, neighborhood policing, and volunteer recruitment.
Right now, the rise in crime is a top concern across the nation. Today, we learn new details about the deadly mass shooting at a Buffalo, New York supermarket. Officials say the 18-year-old gunman had plans to continue the attack had he not been stopped. Investigators say he plotted the attack over several months and described himself online as white supremacist and anti-Semite. 10 people were killed in the shooting and several others were injured. The 18-year-old made his first court appearance on Saturday and pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Law enforcement says he is also likely to face federal hate crime and domestic terror charges. One of the victims in this shooting was related to a North Carolina civil rights leader. Charlotte Mecklenburg County NAACP president telling our affiliate station in Charlotte that 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield was among the 10 victims that died. Whitfield is Mac's cousin through marriage. Mac described Whitfield as a woman of God who loved her children. She says she left behind 4 beautiful children and a husband whom she visited every day at a nursing home. So sad to hear about all of this. And it's just so crazy to think about all the shootings that are happening. And you remember in the pandemic, the one good thing about the pandemic,
yeah, crime stats went down.
Crime went down so significantly, and I wonder if that's why we're seeing that uptick again.
I don't know. It seems like every day you're getting another push alert from another news, organization all over the country. This has happened, that's happened. One thing that hit home for us, at least in my house, is that my wife's from Buffalo. And so when we heard about this, she immediately started calling everybody that she knows and friends and relatives and that type of thing, and everybody was safe. But it's a shock when you hear that, especially if it's in your hometown.
Extremely disheartening getting all the notifications
Yep.
about the different things happening across the country. But the question is, how do we fix it? How do we curb crime? I feel like there's no solid answer. There's so many layers, like you have education, you have poverty, you have jobs, you have that easy access to these weapons. So it's like, what do we need to do to help curb the violence? And I think that's what a lot of people are questioning, because I think we're just going to continue to get those notifications about a shooting here, a shooting there, unless something is really done about it.
And I think you hit on it, multifaceted,
Yeah.
right? There's a million different reasons, whether it's mental health, whether, there's just so many different things, gun control, hot button issues,
Yeah.
a lot of them that people are really, strong on one side or the other. So I'm not sure if there's a clear answer right now. I think it's kind of spreading it out over a lot of different decisions and trying to kind of keep tabs on things.
And I just hope that we can get to a place where the right policies can be put in place, because I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news. I just don't see it changing unless something is actually done to curb the numbers.
And
I
on
will say
a lot
this,
of levels.
But I will say this is, a lot of times we're seeing teens involved in these crimes, right? And that's something I know that a lot of people in power in Greensboro and Winston-Salem both are trying to work to make sure that these teens, instead of going that direction, have a different route to go, whether it be maybe getting involved in a youth summer program. So instead of being out on the streets, they're starting their careers a little early, just getting them involved and also putting the right people in their lives so that they have better mentorship. And I don't even know if that can fully be the answer, but I think that's one step.
It's
It is a
start.
step, because
Yep.
it does start at home.
does.
Those values and knowing that there's something beyond your current environment that you're in. So I think, like you said, mentorship and these different programs, that is a step in the right direction. I just hope on a larger scale we can find a solution to these problems.
And it starts at home too, that it's okay to talk about mental health. Start with that very early. All right, we'll
Yep.
take a break. We're coming back.
Wet n Wild officially opens for the 2022 season this Saturday. Is the first time in decades the Greensboro Park will open a weekend before Memorial Day weekend. Doors will open at 10 a.m. this Saturday and Sunday. Staff hope the community will come out to kick off celebrating summer early.
We're going to have live music, we're going to have a dance party, we're going to have giveaways, games, something for everyone to enjoy. And we're really just going to have a big party, and we want everybody to be invited to kick off summer early with us here at Wet n Wild Emerald Point.
This season, Wet n Wild will debut an all-new attraction. The Bombs Away drop slides are the first new attraction since 2015. Riders can pick between a straight speed 6-story 70-degree drop or a twisting turning loop through a closed 300-foot-long tube. It's all a part of appealing to families looking for some summer fun.
We're a family fun staycation. You could spend all day here making memories with your family, and we truly have something for everyone. High thrill to the lazy river to 2 large kiddie areas as well.
The water park has also extended the calendar year and will stay open the weekend after Labor Day. This is the second season Wet n Wild has had a major push to hire workers after they had to close in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Coming up at 4:30, we check in with their hiring efforts. So growing up, Kings Dominion Amusement Park in Richmond, Virginia was my favorite summer attraction. So I asked you on my Facebook page, what was yours? Ramona Miller says Busch Gardens. Carl Settle says Lakeside Amusement Park for those who are old enough to remember. Linda Woodard wrote Carowinds. Martha Ward wrote High Point City Lake and Oakcrest Swimming Pool. Louise Richardson says fishing at local creeks and ponds. Robert Anderson wrote running through the sprinkler. I'm very old school. Jerlaine Washburn says Lakeside Amusement Park and Jamestown Park. So lots of fun stuff. So you giggled at one of those.
Oh, the running through the sprinkler thing, because what kid doesn't do that?
I
you know?
loved doing that.
I
slip and
love
slide.
slip and slide.
Yep.
Yes, love those things.
You can make
So
your
much
own
fun.
with like trash bags and things like that.
Yeah.
And they always would rip apart
Yeah.
when you hit the grass. For us, I mean, the biggest thing for the Carolinas was Carowinds for so long, so that was kind of but that was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
You didn't do that all the time. That was a once in a while thing.
What about you?
Every summer growing up, my grandparents would take us to SeaWorld in San Antonio
wow.
because that was a very quick flight from Little Rock, the Little Rock area, to San Antonio, Texas. And then just growing up, I would go to Six Flags over Texas a lot
Yep.
too.
I've been to that one before when I used to live in Fort Hood, but we have Kings Dominion in Richmond. Went there like multiple times throughout the
That's a
summer,
big deal.
whether it was with my school or my church or just friends. And then Six Flags over Maryland was also pretty big up there too.
I'll tell you what not to do is as you get older, don't try the slip and slide. I did it like, it was
Oh,
like
no.
3
You just,
summers
like,
ago.
keep
I
going?
I didn't get hurt, but it hurt when I just jumped on the ground. I think I hit some rocks or whatever. My
Oh
kids
my
were laughing.
goodness.
But there was like, when you lay it down, you better look on the grass and make sure there's not any rocks underneath there. That did not feel good.
Well, I was just about to ask you because Wet n Wild, with their premiere of this new ride, the Bombs Away, they said that we could come and test
No.
it out. And it's 2 different slides, so I could ride one or you could ride one.
you
or
two
vice
could ride it.
versa.
I'm
Team
not-
event, let's do
no.
it. Live on the air.
I have like a phobia of water slides. They make me so
It's only
nervous.
a 70-degree drop.
Oh yeah, I'll watch.
No.
I'll be at the bottom when you guys come out. It's like, how do you feel? I'll be that
I guess
guy.
I'll be
No.
the only one to try it out.
Panicking.
Stacey
No,
said
no,
I'm
no.
panicking
If
already.
it's a covered one,
There's one of them is a closed-in
I will do that.
300
I don't
foot
like-
closed-in tube. And then the bottom drops out once you get to the end.
Oh
Maybe.
no.
I'd rather go to a roller coaster ride.
I won't do that either. I'll watch y'all do all that.
Ah, Debbie Downers.
We're
I guess
just-
it'll just be me.
Lauren can do it all. We'll watch. We'll
Have
support.
fun.
We'll be back.
The rain is coming down in some spots across the Triad. So this is a live look from our Burlington Skycam. I'm going to step out just so you guys can see some things here. So the rain is coming down heavy, and that's what you're seeing there in the distance. It looks like kind of like a hazy view. That is the rain coming down. But also just focus on this camera view. It kind of shaky a little bit. That's because the winds are also picking up on this Skycam. The current temperature 83 degrees. Temperatures across the Carolinas are changing. It's warmer when you look along the coast, and it's getting cooler when you look back to the west. And that's because that cold front is crossing. As the cold front crosses the area, the temperatures fall. Not only because, well, cold front brings in colder air, but with that rain happening in some areas, it cools the air as well. So we have two factors working together to really cool the air currently. So we're seeing this strong line of storms, and the reason why I'm calling it a strong line is simply because it really does make a straight line across the central Piedmont as it continues to move towards the east. And it's making that line formation because of the cold front. The cold front is helping to initiate a lot of that storm development that we're seeing along the line. If you are along that border of Virginia and North Carolina, you are seeing the strongest of the storms. And we've been seeing a reoccurring threat of severe thunderstorms across Rockingham County and Caswell County. So again, that cold front crossing the area today and then bringing in cooler and less humid air behind it for the midweek. So we will be drier for your Tuesday and your Wednesday. Like I said, temperatures taking a slight setback into some cooler feels across the area. So feeling good today and feeling better tomorrow as that humidity falls. But as we go towards the weekend, those temperatures are going to be warming up back into the 90s. It's time for it. Summer isn't too far away. Now, I just want to remind you, with scattered storms in our area, we are forecasting them. You want to keep you weather aware always. It's easy to download that WFMY News 2 app from the Apple or Google Play Store, where you'll get the latest details right in the palm of your hand.
It is a day to be celebrated here in North Carolina. That's because it is National Barbecue Day. You know we North Carolinians love our Q. So I asked you on Facebook, tell me the best barbecue place in your neck of the woods. I knew this would open a can of worms. Here we go. Peggy says, Stamey's in Greensboro, the absolute best. That was one of my dad's favorites, as a matter of fact. Pam says, I have an unlikely place. The Fresh Market on Lawndale in Greensboro has the best brisket, hands down. And my husband is from Texas, and he's picky, she says. Zane says, tough choice most of the time for us is between Stamey's in Greensboro or Short Sugars in Reedsville. Heard a lot about that. Shayna says, this is really going to ignite everyone, but Sweets Turkey Barbecue and Catering is so good. And she says, I don't even like turkey bacon or sausage or anything like that, but this is really good. Victor said Mr. Barbecue in Winston-Salem for pulled pork. I hadn't heard about that one in a while. And this one showed up a lot, if you're not familiar. Black Powder in Jamestown for beef brisket. Debbie says there is no bad barbecue in this area. Every place is different, but it is all so good. Yeah, I knew this would be a big talker because we take our barbecue seriously. So do other parts of the country too. Memphis, I know, is big in that.
Got some
Kansas
big
City.
barbecue.
Yep.
So I have to be honest.
You haven't had it yet.
I haven't had it yet
I knew
since I
it.
moved here. It's been a little over a year. So there's so many I need to try. Everybody has said Stamey's I need to try for sure.
I think you need to go someplace that offers Eastern and Western North Carolina barbecue because they're totally different. And
Okay.
you just because then you have to try it, you know. And I honestly like both. I will say sometimes I lean to the Eastern barbecue, which is not where I'm from, but I like both.
What's the difference?
One is more vinegar based, a little more sour.
Okay.
So if you go to Smithfield's, you know, that's a chain. There's one in Greensboro, but that's more of an Eastern style.
Okay.
And then if you did some Lexington, any place in Lexington, that's more Western barbecue for us. Uh-oh. You don't like barbecue?
She likes ketchup on her chicken.
Like, okay, yes, but that's a different
Ew,
conversation.
I was just joking.
I've done that.
I like ketchup with my chicken.
I've done that too.
Okay.
Boo, boo.
Anyway, guys, if I eat barbecue, I like the sweet barbecue in Memphis.
Yes.
Oh, I've never
That is
had
my
Memphis
that.
barbecue
style.
is good.
I would like to try that.
It wins every day.
Is the sauce sweet?
Central barbecue.
Sweet Central is my
If
favorite.
you ever
I
are
go there
in-
every
I know
time.
we live in the trial, but if you ever do go to Memphis, you got to try Central Barbecue.
I wonder
It
if
is
there's a
good.
restaurant here. You know, there's a lot of places here that do the style of other places. Surely
Now,
there's
I
a
will
Memphis
say,
style barbecue.
the new one on Lawndale, I think.
City barbecue?
Is that what it's called?
I think
so.
so.
Okay.
I did try it and it was really good. I have to say that place was good. It was more of that sweet barbecue
Interesting.
taste. And then Cow has
Yes.
good just meat
All
in
their
general.
meat is so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Some places to add to my long list of places I haven't been to.
Now I'm
Yeah.
on a mission. I'm on a mission. All right, we're taking a break. We're coming back.
Actually,
Actually,
look, wait,
you did
hold
it
it.
again.
We're going to-
You
Did I
did
do
it again.
It said chat,
You
and I
did
thought
it
I
again.
always think we're going to a commercial
he
break.
just wants to take a break. But
That's true. So
anyway,
true.
staying on the topic of food, Coach Lamont has a special message for us.
An old Cherokee chief sat down to teach his grandson a lesson about life. There's a fight going on inside of me, he tells the young one. A fight between two wolves. One wolf is evil, is full of malice, anger, greed, self-pity, and false pride. The other is good, is full of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. This same fight is going on inside of you and everyone else on the face of the earth. The grandson was quiet, pondering the revelation for a moment before asking, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" The old man replied, "The one you feed." We were all created with the fruits of the Spirit, but allow the elements of life to silence them. Imagine the world if we fed the fruits instead of the lies. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, friends. I'm headed into the studio. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5, halfway through the show right now. Eric, Monique, Lauren, Stacy, and hiding off camera is Tanya Rivera. So we're all here.
We're all here. And remember, you can also watch us on Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app. And we're also on Facebook. It's a little quiet over there, so make sure you join the conversation.
Yeah, but a lot of people today talking about the active weather radar, and that is why we have Miss Monique Robinson right here to explain.
Yes, the radar is busy for this afternoon. We're starting to see some showers and storms develop across our area. You can see this line extending all the way through Caswell County. That is all ahead of a cold front that is going to be making its way across our area. Now, the northern end of that line has so much lightning with it, and even just earlier had a severe thunderstorm warning with it, which as it continues to move eastward, we're seeing that it's starting to cancel out. So the temperatures across the area yesterday were actually very similar to what we're feeling today, the low 80s. And as we look to the high temperatures across the area, once again, 80s on the board. Now tomorrow we're seeing 80s again, but there's going to be a major change. It's not going to feel as humid. And with that humidity taking a back seat, it will feel fairly nice outside. Either way, both days we're actually well above where we should be for this time of year. We should be in the upper 70s. Not yet really reaching the 80s, but at least tomorrow we won't have the humidity factoring in, so it won't feel as much like summer like it did over the last couple of days. Now those dew points, like I said, taking a backseat tomorrow, but they're riding back up into the 60s as we go towards the weekend. And that's because another cold front will be crossing our area, which means more rain for the weekend. I have yet to talk about it throughout this 4 p.m. hour, but I have some scenarios that I can show you as to what your weekend will pan out to be like. So that 7 days showing you those temperatures on the cooler side of things for your Tuesday and Wednesday, not factoring in the humidity. And then we get the 90s as we go towards the weekend, along with some rain and storm chances.
Our forecast, we want you to keep our free WFNY News 2 app close. So all right, 4 to 5 fam, early voting is over, so if you haven't cast a ballot yet, tomorrow is your last opportunity. Election day for the North Carolina primary is tomorrow. Polls are open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Let's send it over to Tanya for what you need to know if you have yet to cast your ballot.
All right, it's time to show your sticker. That's me with my I voted sticker on my shirt. I took advantage of early voting this weekend. There's no voting today, of course. Tomorrow is the day. That's right, tomorrow's the day. So are you early voters or are you day of voters?
Well, typically I am an early voter. Like in the presidential election, I voted early, but for this election, I'm going to be voting the day of.
Day of, okay.
Yeah, I'm day of too. And same thing, Lauren. The past 2 years we've been early, but we're day of today.
I'm an early voter just because usually I'm working on election day and don't have time.
Some people have like a thing. They're like, I have to vote on the day.
Interesting.
Like it's like a big deal to them. They feel more patriotic when they do it on election day.
Yeah, I'd like to just get in there early to avoid some of the super long lines and things like that.
I'm with you too. Okay, now here's the next question. Are you sticker people?
Yeah,
100%.
I have to have my sticker. I got to take my selfie with my sticker.
What is it about? I mean, it's like, it brings me back to like kindergarten when you get a sticker for doing something good.
You're getting a gold star.
Yeah, like I did my duty.
That's right. You did your thing and now you get rewarded for it with the sticker. I love it. Okay. Now this is primary election, which means things are done a little bit differently than in the general. First and foremost, no ID is needed to vote. I want to make sure that you know that. You do not need your license. You don't even need your voter ID card. Second, you only vote for your party. So Democrats get a ballot with Democrat candidates. Republicans get a ballot with only Republicans on it.
Democrats vote on the Democratic slate, Republicans on the Republican slate. But an unaffiliated voter is different. They can go in and they'll be asked if they want to participate in one party or the other. So the unaffiliated comes in, they get that choice, and they can pick only the Democrats or only the Republicans, not a mix of the two.
All right, and third, you can find your voting place and your sample ballot by using the voter search tool on the state website. So this is what the voter search page looks like. You're going to put in your name and your birth date and the county that you vote in. It's going to come up with your name and address at the very top. And then you see all those blue lines, those are different tabs. So then you can expand those tabs to see your voting location and your sample ballot as well.
Thank you, Tanya. Remember, polls are open tomorrow from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. If you have any questions from now till then, just head to our website. Just search NC Primary on WFMYnews2.com.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup with new details about the deadly mass shooting at a Buffalo, New York supermarket. Officials say the 18-year-old gunman had plans to continue the attack had he not been stopped. Investigators say he plotted the attack over several months and described himself online as a white supremacist and anti-Semite. 10 people were killed in the shooting and several others were injured. The 18-year-old made his first court appearance on Saturday and pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Law enforcement say he is also likely to face federal hate crime and domestic terror charges. Right now, law enforcement searching for suspects after 7 people were shot in the Triad. Winston-Salem police say it happened last night and spanned across 3 different locations: Fairview Park, Highway 52, and East 25th Street. Investigators say the shootings were targeted, but 2 of the victims were innocent bystanders. In a press conference today, Captain Amy Golden says they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. All of the victims received non-life-threatening injuries. Police say several investigation units are involved in this case. Right now, they believe the suspects were driving a white 4-door BMW and a black Dodge Charger. If you know anything about any of these shootings, please call Crime Stoppers. And now we have an update on a murder case involving a teenager killed during a drive-by shooting. A judge sentenced 18-year-old Kalir Anderson from High Point to 25 years in prison. Anderson was found guilty of first-degree murder after shots fired into a home killed a teen. It happened back in 2019 on Triangle Lake Road in High Point when Anderson was 15 years old. The court ordered Anderson to serve the minimum 25-year murder sentence concurrently with a minimum 5-year sentence for discharging a firearm into a home. And now to the latest in Ukraine. Military officials say Russian forces have withdrawn from Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv. New reports show that Russia has lost around a third of its ground forces deployed in Ukraine. Today we received an update from Samaritan's Purse on its Ukraine evacuation efforts. The organization says a flight carrying 28 refugees arrived safely in Canada yesterday. Every week, that same cargo plane is used to transport relief supplies from Greensboro to Poland. The war in Ukraine is one of the causes of a nationwide baby formula disruption. The FDA commissioner says there isn't enough formula to go around. It's just not being distributed in the right way. He says the agency is preparing to announce plans to make formula more accessible. In the meantime, the agency says families having trouble finding formula can go to hhs.gov/formula for help. Congress is also preparing to vote this week on a pair of bills to increase supply.
With more days and more ways to play, Wet n Wild Emerald Point needs more workers for the 2022 season. For the first time in decades, the park will open the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. Organizers say hiring for the upcoming season has been difficult, especially when it comes to hiring lifeguards.
We just recently, again in April, increased our wages for our lifeguards, so they're now making up to $15 an hour. We still are continuing to hire for the season. As we know, turnover will happen. Our college kids go back to school early, so we encourage those that are still looking for a fun summer job to apply online.
The park is also looking to hire ride operators, food service staff, admissions, park services, and security as well. Opening day is this Saturday with doors opening at 10 a.m.
They're large, loud, protective, and just downright messy. But we know who you can call to get the flock out of your neighborhood or harm's way. That story's next. Neighborhoods, churches, and even the Chick-fil-A parking lot. I've seen them everywhere. I'm talking about Canada geese. And I asked you on Instagram if you're seeing the same thing, and you can see the majority of people voted in my poll said yes, they've seen a lot of geese. And the experts say it's true. North Carolina has more residential geese making this their home. And I think we missed that sound, but she said we do see the population growing all the time. More geese means more problems. They're very protective, sometimes mean, very messy, and end up in dangerous places. Canada geese are federally protected, meaning you can't touch them or even shoot them. That's where the geese police come in. They train border collies to stalk geese instead of sheep. They'll hop on a kayak to help get the dogs closer to the birds. Those dogs will then imitate the geese without ever touching them and essentially scaring them away from the property. Mary Beth Soto says they'll go to the area every day until the geese leave.
A lot of times people have the wrong impression of what we do. Some people think we actually capture the geese. Some people think what we do is mean to the geese. We do this job because we actually love the geese.
Soto says we're at the end of nesting season, and that's why you're probably seeing a lot of those cute goslings around, making it even more important to keep them out of harm's way.
Usually we get the first phone call from a new client at nesting season, and they will say, there's a goose here and he's attacking us and he won't let us into the office. And what happens is she'll build her nest somewhere close to the building, and once she's sitting on the eggs, he does all he can to keep everybody away from them. And a goose can weigh anywhere between 8 and 12 pounds, and if he's coming at you from 5 feet in the air, that's something.
Soto says the pandemic also impacted the geese. With more parking lots open, more geese were trying to nest there, so that's probably why you see them in more populated areas. And one bit of advice: if a goose, a mama goose or a daddy goose is ever hissing and coming at you flying, never turn your back to them. That's what Soto said.
So we just let them attack us head on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, at least you have a chance then.
Swat away. No, I think it's that intimidation factor.
And some of them are like that even if they're not nesting. I know when my twins were little and we'd go to Country Park, there were geese everywhere, and they would walk up to my boys and I would always get nervous because they'll hiss at them.
I just learned a couple of weeks ago that they actually hiss. I was walking on a lake near Adam Farms Parkway and I heard it go. I just never knew. I thought they quacked. So I was like, oh, wow, let me stay away.
They must quack when they're happy and then hiss when they're upset.
I think that's a duck. No, they're interesting animals. And I mean, I think the whole point of this is that because we have more and because they're so, I mean, y'all saw that video, they're so close to the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You want to get them into a safe place where they have a big pond or lake to use to swim in and everything.
I mean, I've seen them stop traffic on Battleground,
Yeah,
and
it's
everybody
scary.
on both sides stops and they just take their time.
Windover too, and you just have to wait for them all to cross. And then a couple of weeks ago, I saw the gosling, and one of them fell trying to get up on the curb. It was so cute, and I was in the car like, come on, go.
You got it.
But if you got out and tried to help,
Oh no, I wasn't
Mama
going to do
wouldn't
all
like
that. But
Yeah.
he eventually, made his way.
I think they honk. Don't they honk? They honk.
Yes, I think.
So maybe it was
I've
a
heard
honk,
that.
but I
But
didn't know.
they do hiss.
I didn't
No,
know that
they'll
until
hiss.
recently because one hissed at me when I walked past, and I was like,
Yeah,
They
they'll
will
come
hiss
get
at
you.
you. Yeah, and they are called Canada geese, by the way. I got into a
Yes.
long discussion with someone one day. They said
Yes.
it's Canadian geese. No, Canada geese.
Well, we're going to have more information about the geese police
Okay.
on our website. We'll be right back.
today is just one of those days where you got to continuously watch the radar to see if anything develops in your area. That cold front is crossing actually fairly quickly, going to be out of our area within about an hour or two. Just zooming in a little bit closer as these last straggling bit of showers and storms across our area clear out. Just keeping a close eye on these ones on the southern tip, as some of these are starting to produce some lightning with them, something that we weren't necessarily seeing earlier. Mainly these counties down to our south, we're really just getting to see some rainfall across the area, not necessarily getting the lightning. But over the last 30 minutes, we've seen a few lightning strikes just north of Randleman to the north and east, and just south of Pleasant Garden. It's clearing out of that area, but then you're going to have to keep an eye out for this next storm that is crossing over and then going to be clearing out very quickly. Looking a little bit further north across Burlington, the heavy storm that made its way, that nice picture on our Skycam view, that thing is clearing out, but then we're having another round of heavy rainfall coming through now. But as I said, this whole event should be over within the next hour or two. Now, the National Weather Service has most of us under a severe thunderstorm watch until 9, but I think things should be over well before then. So I said temperatures will be soaring into the 90s toward the end of the work week, and those 90s will accompany some storms. Here's what you need to know. Dry and less humid for your Tuesday and Wednesday. We get a brief stretch of 90s for your Thursday, Friday, and your Saturday, and then rain at times this weekend. So this is a look at what we're seeing today. We're going to be drying out for your Tuesday and your Wednesday. Thursday, that's the next big chance for rain. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, this is just one case scenario of what we potentially could see, just giving you an early look at the weekend. I know we're several days away. You're probably not even worried about the weekend. So here's a look at that full 7-8. Temperatures staying warm as we go towards the weekend. But like I said, those storm chances are possible, especially as we look for a cold front to cross over the weekend. And that cold front is a strong one. You can see those temperatures falling down into the 70s for your Monday. So with scattered storms in our area, we are always wanting you to be weather aware. So download that WFMY News 2 weather app, and it's easy. I mean, you could just download it from your Apple Store or Google Play. There you'll have the latest weather updates right in the palm of your hand.
You know, I would venture to say most of us don't know what we were destined to do until probably a little later in life. But for one Greensboro resident, he has been following his dream since elementary school. Now, Raman is an artist, and you've probably seen some of his work all over the Triad. I caught up with him today to talk about his life's work and how it really feeds his soul as an artist. Take a look. So Raman, everybody kind of has a story about when they first realized that they have a talent. How far back does that go for you?
When I was about 6 to 7 years old, that is when I realized that I was good at drawing, or better than anyone else in the school. And I was really fascinated by the superhero comic images.
Oh, yeah.
And I picked up one and I started perfecting it. I drew it like 50 times until it was good, and ever since that I never stopped. I was so much in love with drawing.
And your parents must have known this is what he's going to do.
Yes, they were very supportive, and by the time I was in 7th grade, my father suggested I should join art school, become a professional artist.
And you've worked on all kinds of art, right? Do you have one style that you like better than others?
I enjoy working in different styles, like from photorealism to cartoons or abstract. I enjoy everything. It keeps me entertained. But yes, I do have a style that is my own. It's kind of a flat colors and illustrative style. That is something I would like to see more on the walls. For me, I think public art has more emotional appeal. It connects to the people directly compared to the gallery art. I enjoy doing both, but gallery art is more like an intellectual stuff, and very few people go there to see it. But this is out there for the public, and anyone can just drive and stop by and enjoy it.
So for me, when I look at something on a grand scale like this, I don't know how you keep perspective. How do you do that as an artist when it's such a big painting?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes behind a mural just because of the scale. So you have to make a finished artwork in the exact proportion of the wall in a smaller size. And then you scale it up on the wall through a grid method. So you can either follow a traditional grid method of squares, or there is a lazy grid, like a doodle style grid. So you use either of those methods to scale the drawing and keep the proportions.
So you're looking at little squares and doing them section at a time, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I can't do what you do, and we're glad you're here. Your work is incredible, man. Keep it
Thank
up.
you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, you can look for this story on WFMYnews2.com. He goes by Artist Raman, that's R-A-M-A-N, and artistraman.com is his website. Incredible work. In fact, we were just talking about this. This is the Joker that he did on the back of Red Cinema. That's the first time, you can't really get the scale by looking at that, but that's like as tall as the building. First time he'd ever done spray paint art. That's amazing.
It's just fascinating, like we were talking about during the package while it was rolling, to be able to visualize something like that and then draw it on such a huge scale. How do you make sure it's perfect like that?
He
Rather
said,
than if you were to see everything on a smaller sheet of paper.
he said little bits at a, we have to do it with one square at a time. So I'll look at that square and then I'll paint it on a
Oh,
bigger.
the patience.
Can you imagine? I know.
Well, the planning and then the patience to do it. But I mean, this is just so incredible. He's so talented. And I've noticed all these murals around town, wondering like how they do that. So I'm glad that you answered the question.
So in my 2 cents, I talk about this because I was shocked. I didn't know this was behind Red Cinema. So on the back of the building, which is like the back, nobody goes there very often. There's like murals that line the entire building with different triad artists all along, and
That's
he's
really
one
cool.
of them that has 2 there.
Just the attention to detail, like
Yeah.
Toto there with the hairs
The
and
hair.
everything, and then with the Joker over there, you can see the depth and the
wrinkles
different
and
colorings with
stuff,
the wrinkles and the hair.
It's really cool.
Truly a gift.
If you want to see more of this, stick around for my 2 cents. We'll talk about what's behind Red Cinema, hidden treasures around the Triad.
One, two, three, four, five. Do you know?
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hi there, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas.
Hey, Callie, can you tell me where exactly I need to stand at first? Perfect.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 here in Winston-Salem. Mic check 1, 2, 1, 2.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Jenna, I hope this wind isn't killing you as much as it's killing me.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I'm talking about hidden treasures. So if you play video games, or if you're like a trivia buff, then you might know that they call them Easter eggs in some cases, things that are hidden within a video game or on the set of a sitcom or behind the scenes in the background in a movie that means something to sometimes the cast and crew or the writers, but you have to know that it's there to enjoy it. Well, I found one of those today at a place where I go all the time. Red Cinemas is one of my favorite theaters in Greensboro. I go there all the time. I've seen the murals on the building. Did not know that in the back of the building there's this, and it is fabulous. Just panel after panel after panel of local artists painting their murals back there. Some of them movie figures, some of them just characters. There's Dorothy and Toto, there's the Joker, there's Chadwick Boseman. I mean, there's all kinds of things back here, and I never knew that it even existed. And then today, I stumble onto this treasure trove, and I literally call it a treasure trove because you will not believe what you see if you check it out. So now, guess what? I'm gonna go out in the back alleys and the side courts and look for all this hidden art. It is everywhere in our cities across the Triad, and it's there for us to find and enjoy. But that's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Just an hour ago, a storm dumped rain in High Point while storm clouds brewed in Reedsville.
And that storm threat isn't over yet. More showers are moving in.
Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley is tracking